All right, well, we're at 1 o'clock and I'd like to go through this expeditiously. I've been using some power words that come up on a calendar every day. That's one I was trying to get in. Um, so that being the case, let's go ahead and we'll call this meeting to order. And I guess our first item is to look at the review of the minutes from our last meeting on September the 21st, which were sent out in a packet, but I can go ahead and throw that up on the screen. And then we'll go ahead and we'll do that here. Maybe minimize it so I can see both, but then I minimize the screen sharing. There we go. Oh, let's see. What do you... there we go. Okay, so the meetings from the 21st, where myself, Sean, and Kate were present. We made a whole bunch of important decisions. I'll let you guys read through that. And I didn't know if there were any questions or comments that you had or corrections from the last meeting minutes.
No.
Maybe we should Lee Marchant's name, Marchant's 30-year volunteer with the building corporation. So that was under my report.
Okay. And misspelled?
Yeah, just Marchant.
Okay, great. We will get that corrected. That's a good call. Any other questions or corrections or notes from our last meeting? If not, is there a motion to approve the minutes as presented with the one correction noted?
I move for approval.
And is there a second?
Second.
Okay, Marcia, could you move us to a roll call vote, please?
Michael Campbell,
Yes.
Sean Hanlon,
Yes.
Kate Wiltz.
Yes.
Okay, minutes are approved. Our next item of business is a recap of the financial reports, and Marcia has included in the packet September, October, and November's financial statements, as well as the innkeeper's tax collection. And so I'm gonna, if you don't mind, I'll jump to the innkeeper's tax collection and see if I can get this rotated so we can see it correctly. And as you can see, oh my gosh.
Oh, wow.
There we go. As you can see, the last few months have been a dramatic increase. So since our last meeting in September collections, October collections, and November collections have come in. And all have been over what we anticipated, and actually over what it was in 2019. So pre-pandemic, if you look at the 3 months in comparison, September to September, October to October, and November to November, you can see a collection increase, and in some cases rather dramatically, versus what it was even pre-pandemic, which has really changed the financial situation for this commission far better than we had thought it would be when we were meeting in September. So that's one reason why I wanted to start here, is as we're looking at the financial recap, wanted to call attention to what that was. And then just as a point of analysis, and this is a simple back of the napkin analysis, if we'll remember, the university did not do in-person orientation this summer, and with the rollout of vaccines and everything still going at the time, we understood that, but it did have an impact on tourism. And as we can see, when the university moved back to a more normal calendar, that coincides with this drastic increase year over year in revenue collections. So just a note of how important that calendar is to tax collection and where that is from there. Also to note that the ruling from the state on I don't want to say the loophole, but there you go, I said it. So now it's public record about collections in the sharing economy. So those things like a VRBO or an Airbnb were not present in years past. And this is that first real full year we've had of those type of collections, which certainly has had an impact as well too. Puts us in a point where we're not as constrained just by the physical inventory of the hotels, but also from collections for tourism dollars that are outside of that. So any questions or comments on the tax collections? I see Mike McAfee has a hand raised.
I just wanted to, I know there are a couple media on here. I just wanted to again remind everybody that the November number represents October business. It's always the previous month.
Right. Any other questions or comments on the collections? And then we'll move to the financial summary.
Nope.
Okay, well, we'll move backwards and I'll flip it again. Okay, so as you can see, we had at the first of the year a carryover balance of under $1 million in the general fund, which was prior to claims being taken out for the first quarter. But that represented a year-over-year carryover low water mark for this fund. And with the tax collections, we are now upwards of 1.3, which is after claims today, and we do have several, will be still in sufficient area in order to be able to make those claims. So with those 3 months I had noted, the collection or the general fund balance is 1.35 $2 million in the general fund. In the capital improvement fund, we have had some expenses this year, and the current capital fund balance is $184,671.56. I believe we do have no claims coming out of those funds today. And then the convention center debt fund, the balance on that prior to a claim today is $380,178 and some change. Again, we will have a claim out of that today, but sufficient funds to cover all claims. So any questions on either the financial summary or tax collection for the CBC?
Oh, it's good to see.
Yeah. Well, seeing and hearing none, I would ask if there is a motion to approve the financial report as it's been presented.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, with a motion in a second, Marcia, would you move us to a roll call vote, please?
Campbell,
Yes.
Hanlon,
Yes.
Wiltz.
Yes.
Okay, financial summary passes. Now, I do know we had Visit Bloomington and Downtown Bloomington Inc. on for their reports, and if that's okay, I would like to move to claims first, and then come back to those two reports. Would there be any objection from that from either of the other two commissioners?
Nope.
Okay, I was hoping you would say that. All right, well, let's go ahead. We'll move into the claims and then we'll get into reports and move on down our agenda. So our first claim today is, get to that. We'll flip that again. First claim today is from DBI. It's for convention services. This is the first quarter claims for next year at the new budgeted amount for the quarterly amount. And that would be $86,802. And those are for operating expenditures. So any questions or comments on this claim? And this would come out of the general fund.
Oh, I move for approval.
Second.
Okay, approval and a second. Marcia, can you
Campbell,
move us to a roll call? Wow,
Campbell,
I'm apparently talking too slow for everybody. Yes, approved.
Hanlon,
Yes.
Wiltz.
Yes.
Okay, all right, well there, that one's, check that off. All right, moving to the next one. Let's see. Oh my gosh, I'm flying through them. I apologize for that. There we go. Now I'm on board. The next one is also for DBI, and this is room rental incentives for bookings at the center, and some of those that came through in the amount of $3,873. This is funds that we provide to help to provide relief from some of the meeting room rentals and the other incentives that the convention center offers in order to lure that business here rather than to another center around the camp or around the state. The worksheet is provided here on the second page with some of the groups that have come in since it looks like July. And I love being able to do this one because that just shows the economic impact to the community. So, any questions or concerns over this claim?
I'll be happy to move approval of this one.
All right. And is there a second?
Second.
Okay, Marcia, would you mind moving us to a roll call vote, please?
Campbell,
Yes.
Hanlon,
Yes.
Wiltz.
Yes.
All right. Claim is approved.
Thank you.
Moving on to the next one for Regions Bank. This is for the debt service on the loan payment on the existing convention center and surrounding properties or surrounding land rather in the amount of $159,000. This is the fourth quarter claim, so it would actually come out of this year's balance. Any questions or concerns on this claim?
I move for approval.
Second.
Oh, wow. Okay, a motion and a second. Marcia, would you move us to a roll call vote, please?
Campbell,
Yes.
Hanlon,
Yes.
Wiltz.
Yes.
All right. Motion passes and claim approved. The next one is for first quarter operating expenses for Visit Bloomington. This is based on the new budgeted amount for 2022. And we do have sufficient funds in order to cover this as well. The amount is $426,244.75. And I do know that, and Mike maybe can speak to this, oftentimes the first quarter claim is a little bit higher than some of the others, but the budgeted amount at the end of the year comes out the same. A lot of our marketing dollars, and Mike can speak to this better than if there are any specific questions, but I know a lot of the marketing and some of the other things come at the first of the year. So.
Just to have higher expenses right at the beginning for some of that stuff. Exactly. Thank you, Mike.
So, any questions or concerns on the claim? Well, that being said, is there a motion for approval?
I move for approval.
And a
Second.
All right. Motion and a second. Marcia, would you move us to a roll call vote, please?
Campbell,
Yes.
Handlin,
Yes.
Wiltz.
Yes.
All right. Claim is approved. Moving to our last claim of the day. At least I believe so. This is for Marcia Roche for recording and financial services to this body for fourth quarter professional fees in the amount of $147.50. Any questions or concerns on this claim?
No, I'm happy to approve this one as well.
Okay, take that as a motion. Is there
That's
a
a
second?
motion.
Second.
Motion and a second. Marcia, would you move us to a roll call vote, please?
Campbell,
Yes.
Handlin,
Yes.
Wiltz.
Yes.
Okay, claim is approved. I believe that is all the claims we have before us today. Going back towards the agenda, we can go back and pick up the Visit Bloomington report. Mike, can you illuminate us? There's another power word for you. Been working on those about tourism and your report there from Visit Bloomington. Proceed forthwith. Mike, you need to turn on your microphone, buddy. So.
I'm sorry, I am sitting here talking to myself. Can you share your screen? Can you share your screen with me?
Yes, absolutely.
Sorry.
Let me stop sharing. There you go.
Can everybody see that?
Yes.
All right, I promise to be quick because I'm going to email this to you, so I won't read all the details. But that top stuff there, the hotel data through October, kind of backs up what Mike was talking about. You can see how the market's still lagging behind 2019 some, but obviously way ahead of 2020. The graph right below there showing, I just want to show you what's happening here in November. The blue line, last week we did the market did about 2,000 more rooms than it did in 2019. So that's due to a lot of Greek stuff and different things happening on universities, small events, all that stuff adding up. Still a lot of pent up leisure demand, fall travel. We call it, the big buzzword in the tourism industry is revenge travel. People are taking revenge on COVID and taking their trips no matter what. But, and again, just as Mike said, through October, short-term rentals has done about 9 million in revenue in the market versus about 5 million last year. And I can tell you that November of 21 is will be the highest November on record for tourism revenue in the county. I've already seen the numbers. And December is probably going to be the same due to the huge USA diving competition that's happening next week. And that's a new piece of business. So I think things will look really good. We'll see those numbers at your next meeting in 2022. Just quickly on 21, obviously another challenging year, but somewhat I kind of even say rewarding about how hard it's been and challenging, but we've done well during COVID. We absorbed that big budget cut at the beginning of the year. We got a nice CARES Act grant that we didn't have to pay back, and we will finish the year well under budget and having restored our reserves going forward. If God help us if if things take a turn for the worse. But we are in good financial shape here at Visit Bloomington. And thank you all so much for your support and help in making us be that way. First time we've been fully staffed since 2019. Again, very exciting to us to have a full team. We have a new convention sales manager, Sean Ballard, who started in October. He's already been to a trade show. I'm going to share with you some sales plans here in a second, very quickly. And I'm telling you that 2022 will be probably our best effort ever as far as convention sales efforts go for this group, just because we've got somebody with some great experience that's already hit the road going and knows what's going on. So it's going to be great. Some things that happened in 21. Again, I'm not going to read all these, but just know that our website visitation is obviously way up over 2020. We're just 1% behind 2019, but November and December probably will push us past 2019 levels when it comes to that. But again, reaction and engagement in all of our leisure marketing efforts has been fantastic all year. Laura, Aaron, Alyssa, Brittany, everybody who works on that has just done an outstanding job. I've said it before, I'll say it again. I would put our content creation. We compete with anybody in the country when it comes to creative, original content creation, and we have a great product to sell. So, sports marketing, Pete Nelson has done a great job all year long. We did a lot of golf stuff around the foul course opening, outdoor stuff, which is what people could do, and of course outdoor recreation here. But again, pretty impressive to generate 19 leads this year in the time of a global pandemic. Couple of things to point out there. That track and field is going to cause parking problems in downtown Bloomington in 2022 in May for sure. Let's see, there's a couple things I wanted to point out. The Indiana State Basketball Championships will be back spring break week. They want to sign a 10-year deal with us here in Bloomington. Again, that's about 1,000 room nights of youth basketball during the week of spring break. So it's a great time to have that business in town. USA Water Polo happened this past November, early November. Again, an incredible event for us to bring. They've already re-upped for 23, 25, and 27. I do have state basketball championships on there twice. That was just a typo. Pete's already been to a sports conference too. He went to one in Colorado Springs earlier this fall. Getting into convention marketing. Again, leads generated, not as many as in a normal year, obviously, considering corporate and business travel is pretty much dried up. But that will continue to come back slowly in 2022. Just pointing out on there, the Indiana County Treasurers Association, Sean did a site visit at the IMU today and had a great experience over there. They're also looking at the convention center for that event. Again, excited to have Sean on staff. Getting into 22, that's you're the first to see this, our visitor guide cover. That'll be ready in January. I think it's the best visitor guide we've ever done by far. We're working on, and in fact, our ad sales for it, we're up, I think, when I say 20% or so over 2020. Again, that was pre-pandemic, that we were selling that before the pandemic even started. Didn't do a new guide last year due to that. But two big things some things we're working on here. This ad is promoting Freeze Fest coming up in January, the Bloomington Music Expo in February, and the Quilt Show in March. That's actually a full page ad we're running in Bloom Magazine. But those are three big events that Visit Bloomington basically runs in a big way and has our hands on. I also wanted to point out that coming up in that week in March of the Quilt Show is not only is the Quilt Show going on, so that's pre spring break week, that's pre that basketball championships, but you've got the Quilt Show. We've got the Jacob School auditions, and we've got Kelly School admittance going on. That is going to be a huge week in Bloomington. It's going to be a huge month. March basically is going to start it all off again. Look, as long as things are healthy, 2022 is going to be big for tourism in this county. Again, what are we going to do? Continue what we're doing leisure marketing wise. We know what we're doing. We just want to continue and effectively grow our marketing efforts. We are buying a tool that's going to help us do some cell phone tracking. That's going to tell us who's here in town during events, where they're going, and where they're spending money, which is going to be great. We just signed a new PR contract with a company called Communications Redefined out of Indianapolis that's going to do some great work with us and Aaron White next year. And we're already working on a community plan for the 2024 eclipse. That's going to be a big deal in this community. I mean, we're going to be the center of that eclipse in 2024, and we're going to expect thousands of people in the area when that happens in 2024. Sports, again, I'm not gonna read down these. Pete's chomping at the bit to get out there and make calls. We've got these trade shows we're going to get back to in 2022, so it'll be a full-on year of sales efforts. Getting down under conventions and meetings again. Certainly hope to be talking about the convention center expansion in early 22. Looking forward to Sean establishing routine out-of-town sales calls, being in Indianapolis every single month a couple of times. Looking forward to recharging our engagement with the convention center and the union and all the hotels that have space in town, and getting out on the road and making sales calls together and promoting together. And there is right now, that's Sean's trade show, road show that we've got on the books so far for next year. And with that, that's it. I just want to say thanks again for your support, and looking forward to the future.
Okay. Any questions or comments for the Visit Bloomington team?
I have a comment. The visitor's guide is an amazing tool, and Mike's right. For a hotelier, it's always been a catch-22 to send people there, because obviously they can go to any other hotel from that website, but it's just such an amazing tool that you can't not send people there. So, and if you work for a hotel that you have a product that you can stand behind, then you shouldn't have to worry too much about it. But it is an amazing tool, and yeah, thank you for that.
Thanks for saying that.
Yeah.
You know, and just as another hotelier, I appreciate all of the detail you put into your report, Mike, and certainly all the things you outlined and your team outlined. Just after we approved your quarterly claim for next year, gosh, I can't imagine anybody thinking that wasn't money well spent or well spent into the future. So appreciate the investment and the care and the planning that not just you, but your whole team does in order to look at future bookings, not just concentrating in the moment, in the month, in the moment. So.
Yeah, I also have one other comment or question. Is the sale or the Big Ten or the NCAA championships in Indy, right?
It is.
Are they doing the same lineup as they did last year, where they're using Bloomington and Purdue and that kind of stuff?
No, that was the NCAA tournament. I mean, that was
right.
I think that was when they did the March Madness. So that was just so big that they had to do that. This is the. Are you looking at something on my list, or just talking about the because last week was obviously the football game with the championship. Which one are you talking about?
I thought Indianapolis had committed to NCAA to hold those tournaments every year. For a certain period of time, right?
I don't think they're doing the entire March Madness there. I mean, I'm sure they're having at least a regional or something. I just think I'll look into that, Sean.
Okay, that was the question: is are they going to bring everyone in again?
I don't think so. I haven't heard that. I mean, it's still. I mean, we'd have heard that by now. But you know what? I want to be 100% sure and answer your question, so I'll have to check it out. But I feel we would have seen that already. They probably have to be sending out. What are you saying, Laura?
It's in New Orleans.
Yeah. So the Final Four is in New Orleans.
Okay.
And I don't see anything in first and second rounds, March 17th to the 19th, or in Indy, but that's it.
Okay. All right.
You know, and Sean, I forgot I was in Indiana when you were talking about championships, because I think Indy is doing the NCAA football championship, which I understand is probably not nearly as important as a basketball championship tournament. But I think that is actually happening at Lucas Oil in January. So I was a little confused which one you were talking about. I was thinking, oh,
Sorry.
They've got it there. So anyway.
Thank you.
All right. Any other questions or comments for the Visit Bloomington team on their report?
Just thank you. It's always a pleasure to hear how much you're doing, and really exciting. It's nice. This is a great meeting to attend for that reason.
All right. Okay, Talisha, follow that.
Well, I was just thinking like, oh my God, I need a better presentation piece. But I will say hats off to Visit Bloomington. They do awesome, their whole team, and are always right there to help out with things. So I really appreciated that throughout the whole year. And so anyway, I'll just start mine with like, whoo, we made it through. A lot of different changes, but I'll tell you, having a supportive public officials and partners such as the Convention and Visitors Commission and staff, and you know, I mean, it really, really helped everybody get through this past couple of years. We did end up having 402 events this year, which normally we have 500, 550. Obviously, they were small numbers of people. You know, we were under groups under 25 for a while. We did do the vaccine clinics and blood drives, but we did this past fall have the handmade market, and for Mike's events coming up, you know, with the Music Expo, and it's good to know that they had 4,000 people the first day and 2,000 people the second day. So they had 6,000 people and were able to kind of get everybody through. So people are ready to get back at it. Obviously, we're still requiring masks and the food service protocols here. We're the only one in the county doing that, so it takes some time to explain it, but people are appreciative for the most part. Then we have restored some of our reserves at the Convention Center Management Company, so we're super excited about that. We still need to replenish some of those county operating funds, but you know, we got through this year, and it looks like next year in 2022, looking ahead, 133 events are booked. It feels like it's getting a little bit more stable. There's not as much shifting sand under the feet, and meeting planners are starting to feel a little bit more confident in being able to implement their events. Attendance is increasing events. We see it each month that, so there's some encouraging things there. And then we do have 10 conferences booked for next year that are around 200 people. They're interesting ones. One's on animal behavior. Another one's early childhood education. Another one is American Gas, which has actually been postponed 4 different times. And they're finally going to be able to do it in April. Academy of Science, Indiana Rural Water, that's been with us every year. An interesting one, Association of Hostage Negotiators. So kind of looking forward to that one, and Medical Library Association. So it's always interesting. There's an association for so many different topics. I really enjoy seeing all those people come through and what they talk about. Canopy of Lights was well attended as well. And Visit Bloomington always helps out with that too. I don't know, maybe 5,000-6,000 people there. We do still have some of our downtown shops and restaurants are closed on, like Sunday, Monday. Some are closing earlier for staffing concerns. I will say that we're thrilled with our staff. They've done such a good job of being able to kind of revise their roles a bit. And just thank you to all of you. And we are doing a holiday open house, our downtown business networking on Thursday. It's at 9 a.m. It's a holiday open house at Trinity Episcopal. They've offered to host. So you're all welcome to attend that if you'd like to, next Thursday at 9 o'clock. But other than that, we're looking forward to 2022, and it sounds like we need to rest up and build up that endurance. So thank you.
Well, that's great news to hear. So any questions or comments for Talisha or her team? Well, just as a reminder, and all the industries do indicate that convention services and associations are typically some of those last things to start building into their tourism routine. And it's encouraging to hear the number that you're talking about, Talisha. I do think that that speaks to your team and the relationships you've built with those organizations, that they come back that quickly. It also speaks to the desire to meet in person. So as we're thinking about our plans moving forward, we certainly need to keep that in mind. I do think people are anxious to reconnect with some of their association colleagues. I know I've done one for the spring of next year, and it's one that I haven't had a chance to do in a couple of years, but as soon as that's been reopened, and they're on a record pace from what I understand in booking. So I think I think your point, brace for impact. We're ready to get back to it, I think, from a tourism standpoint. Okay. All right. If there's no other questions or comments on the Downtown Bloomington Inc. report, any new business or old business? I can never tell which is what. So maybe just any business.
I have a question.
Yeah.
I feel like I come to this group and I'm always learning something new. So I'll just preface it with thank you for that. I'm wondering, Talisha, you mentioned the restaurants being impacted by staffing issues. Is labor a concern for everyone here in your roles, and how are you seeing this playing out in the next 6 months or so? It's a concern, obviously, I think, to a lot of us, but since I feel like I have experts in the room, I'm wondering what your thoughts are.
Well, I don't know, all of us can jump in, I guess. We're hearing it in several different sectors. Here we're able to schedule when things are going to happen so we can staff appropriately. And so that helps, and we can kind of help decide, what events we want to have when and direct that a little bit. So that helps. But yeah, I think all sectors are feeling it a bit right now, but I'll share with everybody else, whatever.
And I tend to fall on the other side of that, Talisha, and I realize we're all hurting, but it's hard to not be selfish and say, I believe that the hospitality and tourism industry is hurting more than most. If you'll remember, our industry was the one that drew down the furthest. Business impacted in these areas the most. And so we had a large amount of workers, managers, and hospitality professionals leave the industry during that time frame. And now we are all scrambling to replenish that. There are restaurants, you mentioned closing early. There's hotels that are curtailing their inventory about what they sell as a result of that. I don't know how many beds I've made over the last couple of months, but that is not unusual. And most individuals are working outside of areas where they traditionally have just to get by on demand. And so I do think we're struggling as an industry. Gosh, I'm open to ideas on how we can better recruit or appreciate those that are still in the industry and lure some of those individuals back into the industry. Because it is a lot of fun. It's just, wow, it's a lot of work. On the other side of it, I think travelers are tired of COVID. I don't want to say excuses to not having all of the benefit, all of the comforts that they're used to. But we are seeing a little less patience from the traveling public on things not being exactly right. So a lot of stress on the industry right now from a people's standpoint.
I don't know, free cupcakes for your staff every morning.
Yeah, maybe hugs.
Hugs.
Maybe you just come up and hug a hotelier. Just hug a housekeeper. Something. I mean, we need, it probably more than hugs, but it's been a rough go, and I'm not saying other industries don't have that, but not even close. The stress level that's on the healthcare industry and others is dramatic. And I can't speak to that specifically, but I can tell you where we are in our industry, and it's a struggle. So.
Well, I appreciate the optimism in the reports from both reports, actually. And so hopefully that's looking, portending a good future in the labor situation as well.
Yeah, I think and not to wax too philosophical, but I think the more confidence that we have in the rebound and the support for continuing to promote tourism, the more owners, managers, and leaders feel more comfortable in investment in the business. And I think we've all found it's not just investment in the physical business, but in the people business. So I think as you get more confident that things are moving forward from a hospitality standpoint, the more I think the financial, let's say banks or backers are more confident to be able to allow businesses to do what they can. So. But that may be all over.
Yeah. Thank you for letting me hijack the meeting for a second.
Right. Yeah, it's an important thing to talk about. So. All right. Any other new, old, present business, whatever type of business? Okay. 144. Any public comment? I guess that's the next thing on our list. So let's see if there's any public comment out there. And not seeing any. So that being the case, you get 15 minutes of your life back to either take a quick power nap or practice your Tai Chi or I don't know, whatever you do. So, all right. Thanks, folks. Appreciate all your hard work. We'll see you next year.
That's good.
Mm.
Thank
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 you.
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 Thanks.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.